and welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Welcome to another DIY video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join this creative squad. For today's video, I have 4 modern decor DIYs. I hope you love them, so let's get started. For first project, I'm using this wire wreath that says welcome, as well as this candle holder. I'm also going to use a little bit of floral foam and also some greenery. I am just going to grab what I have on hand, and here's a whole bunch. I'm also using some spray paint. Okay, because I'm gonna have to let these dry for a while, I'm going to start with these. I'm going to spray paint my wire welcome sign wreath, and I'm also going to spray paint the candle holder. I'm going to give it a couple of coats just to make sure everything's covered up, and then we'll put it to the side to let it dry. Okay, once everything is dry, here is what it's looking like. I'm going to take a piece of this floral foam. I'm going to cut it to make sure it fits into this candle holder. Once it's inside, I go back in it, I cut it a little bit more. Now, I thought that I could just stick this on here and call it a day. No, it's not going to hold. It's wobbly, so I kind of struggle here, but all I did was add a whole bunch of hot glue, and I just let it dry for a little bit and then add some more. And then I was like, this is still not working. It was still not strong enough, so I had these what are they called, like wooden dowels I cut from the past project. If you watch the video, you know what I'm talking about. So I took those 2 of them, and I stuck them on there and added a whole more bunch of hot glue, held this wire wreath until it dried, and look at it. Now it's actually working because the wooden dowels are gonna help it stay in place. Okay, now that everything's dry and sturdy, I'm going to start adding some greenery. I am just going to add it to where we put the floral foam, and I'm gonna go around, cover the front and back, just adding as much as I think I need to cover up that floral foam. And yeah, that's all what I'm going to do right now. So here is what it's looking like once it's a little bit more full. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. I'm also trimming the wire part just to make sure that it's not too long. Okay, now that all the greenery I want it's there, I'm going in with these little flowers. They're like a really light pink color. I really love them. I added a few of them just to the front because that's the only part I'm going to see. And yeah, that's all I did for the front. Once I was happy with it, I move on to the next step. Okay, next, I wanted to cover up that hanger that it's at the very top because it was bothering me. So I am going to be creating a small bow, and this part will be optional to you if you decide to recreate it, which if you do, you should follow me on Instagram so you can tag me in it and I can share it on my Instagram. But anyway, so I just create a little bow. I showed in my last video exactly what I do, so I'm going a little faster here. But once I did it, I had this trim that I picked up from Dollar Tree. It came with 3 different trims, and the other 2 have been used. This one is not, so that's what I'm gonna use to cover up the middle. And once I had it glued there, I kind of played around and try to see where I want this bow to be. Once I was happy, I just wrapped around this trim, and then I'm going to be hot gluing it into place, as you can see. And that is all for this project. Now let's look at the end result. And here it is. I absolutely love how this project turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For this project, I'm going to be using this cone-shaped floral foam. I showed you this bucket, but I won't be using it, but it is an option. Now, I'm going to be using this greenery. This one's from Walmart from last year. It's like 2 bunches of it. I'm going to be using some white and black paint. And like I said, I will be using this vase instead of the bucket because I end up switching my mind. Okay, so I did off camera because I didn't know if I was gonna use it, but I spray painted this vase in the color black. I just felt like this was something more of what I was envisioning, so I decided to do that. And I was very, very happy with the end result. Okay, so as you can see, I mixed some white paint with some of the, what is that called? Baking soda. And it's so I can give it a little bit more of a chalk feel to it. And I am going to be painting a line at the bottom. I just winged it. This brush is from Dollar Tree. It's very, very sturdy, and it was actually, I did a pretty good job. I did a very straight line, kind of. You won't be able to notice it. There's small little parts where I kind of mess up, but it did not turn as bad as I thought it would be. I was a little scared when I started, but then I was like, you know what, this is not looking as bad. So here it is completed. Okay, next step, I decided to spray paint this cone just because I know Dollar Tree does sell the green cones. I just didn't find any, so I decided to cover up because with spray paint, because I'm going to be adding this greenery on it, and I didn't want to see the white under. I felt like if I left it like that, it was definitely going to show up, so I decided to go for that. As you can see, I am gluing the greenery in there. I cut it in individual pieces, and I just started gluing it to try to cover up everything. Here is what I got so far. Now I'm just, as you can see, I'm just using some hot glue to do that. I'm going to finish covering this up, and like I said, I want to say that these were 2 bunches. They were just cut individually like you're seeing right now. Okay, so when I got to the bottom, I wanted to cover it up, and so I cut smaller pieces and I started gluing them around the edge of this cone. And it takes a lot of patience, but I absolutely love the end result. I would say just be careful because you know it's hot glue and you know it's gonna be hot. Okay, here is what it's looking like. I'm just adding a few more to where I felt it was bald. Okay, next step, I just wanted to show you this because this is what I did. Okay, so I needed something to help erase the tree so it wouldn't sink down. So I created with items that I just randomly picked. I picked this ball, and it came in a pack of like 3 or 4 from Dollar Tree, and then I had this empty roll, and I just felt that it was gonna be perfect for this to help the tree stand up. And I just glued those 2 random items together, and now I'm gonna sit them inside the vase. And now I am going to be gluing the tree onto this empty roll, and it's flat and it's perfect, so it worked for me. I just, you know, show you as an idea. You do what you think is best for you, but that basically completes this project. It was really easy, and I think it turned out amazing. Now let's look at the end result, and here it is. I think this is super cute. Absolutely love it. Let me know what you think. For this project, I am going to be using this beautiful sign I found at Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using a wooden crate. Mine has seen better days. It's been used, but we're gonna move on. And now I'm also going to be using some black, some brown paint, and as well as some greenery. Okay, I'm going to start with my little box. I'm going to paint this completely in the color black. I'm using the chalk paint from Dollar Tree, so I'll give it a very good coat of paint, all 4 sides, a little bit of the inside, and we're gonna move on. Next step, I'm going to be using this really light brown / beige color paint. This one I picked it up from Hobby Lobby a long time ago. I picked this one because it's the closest to the color that the sign has. So I'm going to be painting it or painting the indentions, or what would they be called, creases or whatever they're called, to define this crate. And then I will grab a different brush and I'm going to be distressing it with the same color paint. I will make sure that I cover this box completely, and I'm going to also be doing a little bit on the inside just because I want everything to look nice. And then I will be adding greenery inside, but I want to make sure that if there's anything peeking out, it will all be cohesive. Okay, so once the paint was dried, I was like, let me distress it a little bit more because I feel like I went a little bit heavy on the brown and it was not working. So what I decided to do was grab some more black paint and kind of just go back in there with some black paint. And I love this a lot more. I think it looks, a lot more closer to the color and the style this sign has. See how cute it is? I love it. Now I'm gonna let it dry. Once my cute box was completely dried, I decided to grab some twine rope and I'm going to be tying it around where the handles are. I gave it a few, I wrapped it around a few times, and once I was happy, I decided to glue it down. As you can see, I'm going back in there a couple of times, and once I thought it was enough, it was time for some hot glue. And I guess I also trimmed down what I didn't need. Once it was dried, I move on to the other end, and here it is what I got. Now I'm gonna do the other side off camera. Now it's time to move to the sign. What I'm going to do is remove the hanger, and it's stapled on there, so I remove the staples. Then I go in with my setting sponge just to make sure everything's smooth. Now this part is optional. I decided to take off the wreath that this came with. I didn't like the color on that greenery, so I'm going to be adding my own. So I just took this green thing I had from a bouquet of the dry flowers that Dollar Tree sells, and I grabbed it because it was green. Now I had this random greenery that is also from Dollar Tree, and I had it like this for a while because I've used it in many projects, and I decided to use that to create the new wreath. I just felt like I love these leaves better, and I just wanted a wreath that was going to be more full. So I just started gluing them around this thing. Now that I have my wreath, I'm going to be gluing it into place, and look how much better this looks. At least to me, I absolutely love this wreath now. Once it's glued down, it's time to move to the next step. Okay, now it's fun time. We're gonna put all of this together. Now I'm going to be gluing my sign onto my box. I'm going to be using some hot glue, and I want to be able to see the whole word that spells home. So I'm gluing the tiniest bit edge of this sign. Now all I'm going to do is add some floral foam and then have fun. I'm going to be using some greenery to stuff it in, but you can use this box for many things. Like you can throw your keys in there, you can fill it up with candy, you could do so many things with it. I decided to go with greenery, but the options are endless. And now here it is, the end result. I absolutely love how this project turned out. I know I said this about a lot of my projects, but this one is definitely one of my favorites. For this project, I'm using this metal truck from Dollar Tree as well as this canvas. It's been used, I know. And I'm also using this wooden planks, some twine rope, some tumbling blocks, and some more greenery. Okay, I'm going to start by removing the sheet on this canvas. I don't know what they're called. I need to find out. Let me know if you know what they're called. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting this off with this roller knife. And I remove this completely, and then I peel the back as well. Now, as you can see, it has some staples left in there. And so I'm taking the skinny pliers, and I'm going to be removing all the staples from the back. It was not hard, but it definitely takes some patience. You could leave them there, but I wanted to remove them, so you do you. Okay, now that all the staples are off, I'm going to take my sanding block and sand this down. I forgot to mention this. I'm also using some black spray paint. I'm going with this because it's going to be a little bit more shiny, and that's what I was going for. But if you have any other black paint, go ahead and use it. Also, don't forget to spray paint 2 of your tumbling blocks. Okay, now I'm going to take this wooden plank, and where I'm pointing right now, I'm going to be cutting it. I won't be showing you this part, but you will see once I cut it. Okay, now I'm going to take my little truck and I'm removing the hanger off of this. Once that is done, I am bringing the back of my truck now. So I cut it down because this is going to be the back of this truck. Okay, so I originally was going to leave it this color, but then I was like, I don't really like that natural wood color. So I went in with my antique wax from WAVERLY, and I liked it a lot more this way. I'm not going to be painting the back because 1, I'm not going to see it. And then 2, once you add wax, it's really hard to make glue stick to anything. And that's something I've experienced. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm just not going to risk it. Once that is completely painted, I am going to move on to grabbing a Sharpie. This part is optional. I just wanted to see the lights and some of the little details on this truck. Dollar Tree does sell one that it has already the black marks on there, but it was flat and I didn't like it. I like this one more. That's why I'm doing this extra step. Okay, time to glue our fence to the back of the truck. But before that, I'm adding some greenery. Now that everything's glued there, I am going to add some hot glue to the thicker portion of this fence, and I'm going to hot glue it down. Just held it in there until it's actually glued. And now it's time to put all these pieces together. What I'm gonna do is place this truck to try to figure out where exactly I need it to sit. I want this kind of floating in the air, so I'm taking some twine rope and I'm going to be creating a thick knot on one of the ends. And once that is done, I'm going to run it through the little holes that were already there. And now all I'm going to do is wrap around the extra twine rope, and I'm just gonna give it like 3 wraps around, and then I will hot glue it. And that is all I do for this part. Now once that is done, I will do the other side off camera. And now all that's left is to glue our tumbling blocks to the bottom so we can make this frame stand. As you can see, I completely forgot about them. So do as I say, not as I do. I had to go back in there and paint them to make sure it matched the whole project. And now here it is, the end result. I absolutely love all of these projects. Definitely had my favorites. Let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite project, which one you're going to recreate. Also, don't forget to subscribe and join this creative squad. Give my video a thumbs up, share it if you can, and I will see you on my next DIY. Bye.